AEW's biggest event of the year goes up against WWE's Women's Evolution. Or, I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. Tonight, we are going to do our predictions for AEW's All In Texas. And like everything in Texas, it's all bigger, and this includes this match card. Tony Khan is notorious for making All In and All Out one of the most overbooked and most entertaining AEW events of the year. And today, we are going to cover my predictions for this event. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on for all notifications. Who do you think is going to debut in the Casino Gauntlet match for the men and the women? I have my ideas, but let me know in the comments. Now, on to the video. We are going to start off with the EVPs, the Young Bucks versus Swerve, Strickland, and Will Osprey. Now, this is an interesting match because there is massive stipulations on both sides. If the EVPs lose, they lose their EVP status. If Swerve and Osprey lose, they cannot challenge for the world title for 1 year. Now, with a stipulation like this and storylines being how they are in AEW, you cannot keep Swerve or Will Osprey out of the world title picture for a year. It is damaging to AEW, it is damaging to the stock of the product, and it is damaging to Swerve and Osprey. These two are your core guys. And if anything leads to what I'm thinking is going to happen in the main event for the AEW World Championship, listen, Moxley cannot be in that world title picture anymore. So when it comes down to this tag match, it's a clear cut even. Obviously, Swerve, Osprey, and the Bucks are going to put on a classic. And overall, this entire card is going to be a classic. But there is no way Will Osprey and Swerve are taken out of the world title picture for a year. Like I said, it's just too damaging to the stock and the product of everyone involved. The EVP status is, well, that's just all it is. It's EVP status. The Bucks can afford this loss. AEW can afford the Bucks to no longer have EVP status, and this gives us a better storyline moving forward for everyone involved. So my predictions, Swerve, Strickland, and Will Osprey come out on top with the victory. But after this match, Swerve automatically turns on Will Osprey, and this leads us into Toronto and All Out. AEW's TNT Championship, Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher. This match is just going to be a send-off feud, I believe. Adam Cole has held the title for a little bit of time now, and Kyle Fletcher, I really think, deserves to have his moment to shine. This is one of the first titles that I do see changing hands, and the one thing we have learned with All In is we do get quite a few title changes when it comes down to it. So I'm just gonna be short and sweet with this. Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher, this on paper is a great match overall, but I'm saying Adam Cole is going to drop the AEW TNT Championship to Kyle Fletcher. I don't know what Adam Cole's full status with AEW moving forward is, but I do see Kyle Fletcher being a long-standing mainstay on that roster. So I'd like to see Kyle Fletcher defending that TNT championship. So Kyle Fletcher and new AEW TNT champion. AEW World Tag Team Champions Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Syndicate versus Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight versus Christian Cage and Nick Wayne of the Patriarchy. I love this match. The talent is so broad and the horizons are so vast for all these competitors to really show their talents in the tag division. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, you know, the father and the son, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, who can virtually do anything in the ring and make it look amazing. And then Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with the Hurt Syndicate and MVP and potentially MJF if he decides to come hang out. But this match has the abilities to show what all these talent can really do in the ring. The Hurt Syndicate have had the titles for a little bit of time. Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, they're still new to the AEW. Well, not new, but they've been around for a little bit of time. But everything that Christian Cage has done over in AEW is incredibly exciting, and having him and Nick Wayne as tag champions, I just think there's a wealth of opportunity there. And to have, you know, Christian Cage on the mic bragging about how he's the greatest father and the patriarchy can run all of AEW, especially in the tag division, opens up a lot of very interesting opportunities. So I'm saying this again, we have new tag team champions, and I'm going with Christian Cage and Nick Wayne as your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. The winner takes all match, Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, versus Kenny Omega, the International Champion. Now, I don't care if there's a title involved or not, or 2 or 7 or 27 or 157. At the end of the day, this is Okada versus Omega. This is New Japan. This is AEW. This is 2 of the best in the world. And every time you put Okada and Omega in the ring together, you get fireworks. You get Dave Meltzer needing a cloth after the match because it's going to be a 49-star match out of 5. I don't disagree that Okada and Omega in the ring together is not amazing, and I definitely agree this is going to be one of those matches where we just see just beauty if you are a professional wrestling fan. Overall, with the unification of the Continental Championship and the International Championship, the one biggest thing I've always said about AEW is there are too many titles, and blending the Continental and the International Championship together is a smart move by Tony Khan and everyone in the production side of AEW. So overall, who comes out on top? Honestly, I've not even looked up the record between Okada and Omega over their lifetime, but really, I do see Okada's been doing incredible work. I think he's one of the most entertaining characters over in AEW, but really there's only one person that can really bring a new title like this with the prestige that it's going to hold and the lineage, and that's Kenny Omega. So I'm going Kenny Omega and new unified Continental International Champion. On to 2 of the matches I am looking forward to most on this card. We'll start on to the Women's Casino Gauntlet for an AEW Women's World Title shot. I am looking forward to this match because this is where the surprises happen. This is where the debuts happen. This is where we get the major returns, and this is where we start talking about who's going to be one of the main contenders for the women's title moving forward into late 2025, early 2026. And with that being said, we have so many options. We have the Chris Statlanders of the world. We have the Julia Harts. We have the, I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong, but the Teklas of the world. There is Jamie Hayter, who has been out for a little bit of time, but she is still very much in that picture of one of the most dominant women in AEW if she's booked correctly. We have Willow Nightingale, who is an incredibly massive fan favorite and has had a great 2024 and into 2025. This could be the most unpredictable women's casino gauntlet match or battle royal that you want to talk about. There's going to be so many cool returns and debuts. I'm seeing online that Athena is a major favorite to win this match. She has done amazing things over in ROH under the AEW banner. She has definitely become a complete dominant force of what she was when she was over in WWE, and I can see her taking that step out of the ROH shadow into the main event of AEW. Hell, go back and watch the last match she had against Mercedes Moné, and it just shows how talented Athena has come. But that is not who I'm picking as the winner of the Women's Casino Gauntlet match. I am going with a debut, and if the debut is not this person, AEW has lost their minds. Debuting in AEW and winning the Casino Gauntlet match, is Charlie Girl, aka formerly known as Dakota Kai from WWE. Fans lost their minds when Dakota Kai was released from WWE, and I don't see how she's not a major favorite to have signed with AEW and for her to debut in this manner. How many times have we seen either a return or a debut come into a gauntlet match and tear it up? Ricochet last year, a couple of years ago it was MJF. I think this year this is the way they have to go with the women's division, and Dakota Kai, or Charlie, how she'll probably go by in AEW, she's got to be the one to win this match. Moving on to the men's casino gauntlet match, where we have the likes of MJF, Mark Briscoe, Mystico, Ricochet, numerous other members of the AEW roster like Eddie Kingston's, the Jay Whites, and whomever else you want to dig out of ROH could be involved in this match. But when it comes down to it, I believe it's either going to be a return or someone who's really established themselves over the last 6 to 7 months in AEW. We could see MJF, who's made himself very clear that he wants to pursue the world title once again. I see that being a smart move, considering he is the AEW main man when it comes to basically everything. This man is AEW through and through. Do I think he's the favorite to win this one? We've already seen him do this before, and really, I don't think MJF needs this right now. MJF could be with the Hurt Syndicate, be without the Hurt Syndicate, and just move into the world title picture on his own. He doesn't need the poker chip to do it. He doesn't need the briefcase as per se. There are other guys that could really benefit from having this poker chip and win this match. The likes of Ricochet, I think he deserves a world title match, honestly, but my favorite to win this match are two people. It is either the returning and finally healed up Keith Lee, who arguably, if he hadn't been injured and dealt with all the stuff he's been dealing with, would already be in the title picture. He's a big dude and a fan favorite. So Keith Lee is one of my favorites, but I'm going with a dark horse in this because every time I turn on AEW, all I see people talking about is Gabe Kidd. He was over in New Japan. He was killing it because he gave us something different. And Gabe Kidd being over in AEW right now, he is tearing it up, and I'm a major fan of him. I've been a major fan of him since he's been over in the UK, now coming back over into AEW, and especially over in Japan. I think Gabe Kidd deserves to have this opportunity, and it could spice up some storylines, especially with him being involved with the Death Riders and Jon Moxley. There is an opportunity to tell a lot of story with Gabe Kidd being involved in this match. So I'm going with a dark horse, and I'm going with Gabe Kidd to win the men's casino gauntlet match. On to one of our two main events for AEW's All In, and I'm gonna start with the AEW Championship and the Texas Death Match before Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. And I was listening to Busted Open Radio the other day, and I think Bully Ray said it the best. Jon Moxley has done Texas death matches before. Hangman, from what we saw between him and Swerve last year, basically everything was a Texas death match in some shape or form. Moxley and Hangman are going to brutalize each other for 35 minutes. We know this. The one thing that we also know is Jon Moxley has not had the greatest run as the AEW World Champion, and All In Texas for Hangman Adam Page is a must win. Moxley no longer needs this title. We need to see something different from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley has done everything he's needed to do in AEW, and now it is time for someone else to take the reins, no pun intended, but Hangman Adam Page is that guy, especially with the likes of Osprey and Swerve lurking in the shadows, waiting for this overall triple feud to culminate. Hangman, Osprey, Osprey, Swerve, Hangman, all three of them combined, maybe at All Out, would be an incredible triple threat match to have for the AEW World Championship. And at that point, I don't care who wins. That's just going to be one of the matches of the year. Moxley, Hangman, this is going to be brutal. I'm giving the over-under, and let me know in the comments, of Moxley bleeding within the first 5 minutes. So let's talk about it. Moxley is losing the AEW World Championship to Hangman Adam Page, and we are going to move on with finally some new storylines, and we're finally going to get to see the AEW World Championship on AEW where it deserves. Tony, book it properly. Anyways, there's my opinion on that match. And now to my main event of the night. AEW's Women's World Championship. Toni Storm versus 40 million belt Mercedes Moné. This match could go down as the women's match of the year. Toni Storm, in her elegance and grace and perfection of what she has found in her character, arguably had the feud of the year last year with Mariah May. And now we've got Mercedes Moné coming in as just the self-booked, in my mind, greatest women's wrestler currently in professional wrestling. I don't actually know how many titles Mercedes Moné is actually holding right now. I believe it's 6. The AEW Women's World Championship is the only title that really matters, and I don't see it happening at All In. This match is going to tell an amazing story, and Toni Storm, for some reason, just in her own great way, carries this women's division. In a way, Toni Storm's character is all about her, but in a roundabout way, it's all about AEW and the women's wrestling in AEW. Mercedes' character is booked around, it's all about her. And this is one of those ones where I really hope the heel doesn't come out on top, because putting 7 titles on Mercedes Moné is actually crazy. I don't remember the last time this happened ever in my lifetime. And also, Toni Storm, I think, can carry and tell more stories, one, against Mercedes Moné, maybe again having this culminate at All Out in September in Toronto, or we run it to another PLE for AEW. But Toni Storm, I feel, needs to carry this title a little bit longer. So I'm going hesitantly with Toni Storm and still your women's world champion, but knowing Mercedes Moné, she has something up her sleeve, and it's gonna be Mercedes 7 or 8 or 300 belts or whatever it is by the end of this. So I'm going with Toni Storm. I think it's going to be Mercedes, but my pick is Toni Storm. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on for all notifications that are the MrTeshk Wrestling channel. I will be streaming AEW's All In this Saturday live from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MrTeshk, or on here on the YouTube channel. Just look for the live and click on it, and make sure you come say hi. Like always, guys, see you tomorrow.